I'm back, y'all. And yesterday we were talking about street politics. Well, today we're going to talk about snitching. That's right. Oschino put Neef Buck, or just Neef. You might just know him as Chris and Neef, but he put Neef Buck on blast. Now, I know that a lot of y'all might be asking, Mikey T, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the Best Buy? Are you talking about what happened at Best Buy, Mikey T? Nah, we're not talking about what happened at Best Buy. And even Oschino addressed the first time that he put Neef Buck on blast. He said, when I said you was telling the first time, everyone snapped on me. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people did snap on O. We're like, yo, oh, what? You're putting Neef on blast over some BS that happened at Best Buy with allegedly him and one of the Best Buy employees getting like 8 free computers. You know what I mean? Neef Buck told the truth. You know, a lot of people were like, come on, oh, that's a little bit, you know what I mean? That's a little bit too much. Like, who cares so much about what happened at Best Buy? Y'all are state property. Y'all got 2 albums, y'all got 2 films based on your group. What y'all do together as a unit is more important than you just putting Neef Buck on blast. And a lot of people were like, man, this ain't even about nothing from the streets. This is about some shit about Best Buy, you know? But now we got something else to talk about, y'all. We got something else that cuts a little bit deeper than just some Best Buy gift cards. You know what I mean? Oschino said, but now you told again. One thing, this is a whole different angle, you guys. Oschino said, one thing I would never do is have sex with my friend's girlfriend behind their back. That's rule 1. People's girlfriends are off limits. And I agree with Oschino on this because it's some slime ball stuff to be sleeping with your man's girlfriend or even your man's ex-girlfriend. Like, what type? There's so many fish in the sea, as they say. And you're going to be going after somebody that your best friend or a close friend of yours has been with in the past. It's kind of slimy and it goes against friendship. And I agree with Oschino 100% on this. That's rule number 1. Girlfriends, loved ones, they're off limits. But some scumbags just don't understand that. So Oschino said, you popping your man's girlfriend. He's putting Neef Buck on blast for popping his man's girlfriend. And he said, shout out to Shorty because she's thorough. She told him, yo, you keep laughing in your face. You was locked up, man. I was having sex. So I guess from what Oschino's saying here is that the woman that Neef was hooking up with was being open with her significant other that was incarcerated. She was telling him, like, listen, you're locked up, you're doing a stretch. I'm not out here. I'm not going to lie about what I'm out here doing. And she's out here hooking up with one of the ex state property members. I'm sure a lot of dudes from Philly got to deal with that. I was hooking up with one of the group members from Philly's Most Wanted. I was hooking up with one of the major figures. I was hooking up with a dude from Dream Chasers. You know what I mean? All these rap bulls in Philly will be snatching your girl. You know what I mean? They'll be snatching your girl. And in a situation like this, when somebody has a wife or a significant other or a girlfriend, it's a little bit easier to hook up with somebody who's got a relationship going on with the other person's in jail. It's like, okay, she wants to keep this under wraps. I obviously want to keep it under wraps. So that just makes it easier in some situations. But I mean, you really got to take into consideration what you're dealing with. Sometimes a lot of girls will be cheating when their man's overseas. This dude was in jail. He's in jail for a reason, Neef. He's in jail, and you probably don't want to mess with that. If you're having a little bit of an issue with messing with someone at Best Buy, you definitely don't want to mess with someone's girl when the dude's incarcerated. That should be rule number 2, you know. But so you pop in your man's girlfriend. Shout out to Shorty because she's thorough. So and she actually told her, man, I was having sex. So you don't even know he knows. Neef doesn't even know that her man knows. He lines you up. So he gets out of jail and he lines you up to take your rock chain and your watch. And you're going to make a police report and tell them? I can see you trying to get some insurance. Oschino's like, you're going to make a police report and tell on him? I could see you trying to get some insurance, but you don't have to give the details of everything they did. So from what Oschino's saying here is that Neef got lined up by the girl that he was hooking up with. When her man got out of jail, the man was probably like, yo, keep him thinking everything's sweet. He's going to pop over with his Roc-A-Fella chain. Maybe he'll have some cash on, or maybe he'll have some other stuff on him. And they jacked him for it. I don't know if it was in person or, you know what I mean, when he was pillow talking. I don't know exactly when it was, but Oschino is saying Neef Buck then went and made a police report about it. He went and called the cops about it. And if y'all remember back in the day, Louis V. Gutta and Meek Mill went through a situation like this when there was a robbery that happened at a Waffle House for a chain. I think it was Louis who got his chain taken, and he actually stuck around long enough. Watch. And he actually stuck around long enough to talk to the police. And Meek Mill saw that, and he immediately dismissed him from the Dream Chasers just for having a conversation with the police. So Neef Buck is giving the police the whole report. And my question is, it's like, Neef, why are you doing this? When they catch the bull who did it, they're not going to catch him with your chain or your watch. And what do you expect to get from this? What do you really expect to get from this whole situation? Satisfaction? Because now it's not even the streets in your situation, it's the music industry. It's the music industry that's going to shun you away, that's going to push you away. You know, when I hear these type of situations of Oschino exposing Neef, and then I see pictures popping up of only Young Chris, Freeway, and Beanie Siegel, I understand why. Neef, you see, you did this to yourself. You know, sometimes you got to take an L. I got to pay for a couple computers. Get a Best Buy card and pay for the computers. Another situation, I got robbed from my chain. Oschino put up a valid thing that you could have done. You could have got the insurance if there was any to get on it. I get it. It's embarrassing to go back and say you lost your Roc-A-Fella chain, but it's much more embarrassing when the people find out that you made a police report about it. Oschino said you really was telling again. So I'm sitting there like they're called state property and people are telling. I be looking at these bulls like this is real life CB4. And Oschino said the worst thing was when he saw Spado backstage at the show. He says, what was worse than that, though? Just worse than seeing Spado backstage. What was worse, Oschino says, was that Freeway actually invited him. Oschino said, it feels like you're in the Twilight Zone. I didn't rap my life to get associated with these dudes. I started rapping to get a deal myself. I was forced into this group. And like I had said before, this whole situation with state property coming together, I didn't want to say it was like Diddy and making the band, but Jay-Z had originally tried to put Beanie Siegel with the Major Figures, or they were just all together. They did a mixtape, Cosmic Kev. Someone fill in the blanks in the comment section. But Gilly and the Figures weren't really jacking that deal. They weren't really jacking that deal. I guess it was only going to be like 10,000 a piece, 50,000 for the 9,000 a piece, something like that. And they weren't really jacking that deal. But the thing is, Jay-Z apparently wanted to start a group. You know what I mean? He wanted to start a group. You know, Roc-A-Fella was emerging. So to have a group of Philly artists would have been a good look. So he brought all these guys to Hot 97 after signing them. individually. I would have to say that he signed Beanie individually. I got the story from Oschino that he signed him individually. You know what I'm saying? Chris and Neef, I guess that was a group situation, obviously. But yeah, O said he was forced into this group. And now in 2025, it feels like the Twilight Zone to see enemies and the same functions. You know what I mean? Because you damn well know a lot of people wouldn't even want to be surrounded by somebody who had done harm to their group. So Oschino said, remember this from yesterday. I'm crying, I'm complaining. Everybody wants to say that Oschino is crying and complaining to get his money back. Well, he says, this is how I get my money back. Since y'all want to play games with me, I'm a hustler. I'm going to get mine one way or another. Oschino is absolutely right. He's making major affiliations that are putting him in position to win right now. His affiliation with Vlad, him just continuously doing YouTube videos and showing that he is focused and grinding. You know, he's not just being stagnant. He's not doing a video every month. Oschino's dropping a lot of videos on the internet, and he's going to make a good amount of income from it. Possibly going to make more than what he could make touring with state property. Let's be real about this. I've said this a couple times now. Oschino is the guy in that group that really understands media. You know what I mean? Beanie Siegel has been toying around with using AI to, you know, reinvigorate his rap career, which I think is a dope idea. You know what I mean? The Young Gunz, we've seen what's happened with the Young Gunz. Chris has kind of gone off on a solo route and even done some duo stuff with That's Ryder, which is dope. You know what I'm saying? Freeway, obviously, he went from the major scene, the commercial releases, to steadily releasing independent projects. You know, I've spoke about that in the past, how Jay-Z and 50 Cent were supposed to joint produce his project. Didn't end up working out. But the focus of this video today is Neef Buck, and Oschino ended it by saying, Neef, you have to stop telling. You have got to stop telling. I know the world don't care about ratting. I don't agree with that. I think the world still does care about ratting. You know, look at what happened to 6ix9ine. His career is virtually over. You know what I'm saying? He went from doing 500 million views in a week or month, whatever it was, 500 million views on YouTube, to having a hard time doing 1 million views. You know, so I just want to put that out there. A lot of people are saying that ratting is accepted now, like academics. I don't think academics really understands, you know what I mean, the reality of what goes of ratting, of street politics. You know what I mean? I don't think academics really understands that reality. He hangs out with 6ix9ine. You know what I mean? He actually hangs out and goes over 6ix9ine's crib. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he really understands that all too well. You know what I mean? And as much as Whack 100 is trying to defend 6ix9ine because of the relationship that he created with him, Young Thug is not as much of a snitch as 6ix9ine. So, dude took the stand, but we're not making this all about that. I say that to say this. The world does care about rat, and it shows with a drastic decrease in the people who are actually watching after a short time span. You know, Oschino said, you called state property. If you tell, you would do anything. You got to stop telling. It's not cool. One other line I want to speak about is when Beto said, I be looking at these bulls like this is real life CB4. Real life CB4. That's what Oschino is saying about state property, y'all. I'm going to keep everybody up to date with what's going on. You know what I mean? I think this is one of the hottest stories in hip hop right now. What's going on with Philly? You know, Oschino just telling his truth. You know, just we'll have to wait and see what happens. You know, if Neef Buck actually responds to this, if Young Chris responds to this, if Beanie Siegel has anything to say about it, you know what I mean? Or if it was even a real Roc-A-Fella chain that got stolen. You know, we'll have to wait and hear the updates, but I want everybody watching this video, hit that like button. Follow me on Instagram, Mikey T the Movie Star, Mikey T _ the Movie Star. Subscribe right here on YouTube and stay in the loop, man, because I got all the hottest content and interviews popping off. I'm out.